Well, good evening, everyone. We are here, we are live, we have survived the hour gap between shows. Yeah. I think that's a good way to put it. Surviving, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard that. I heard the clip last show earlier. That was that was scary to listen to.
I mean, we
Oh,
could we could start that up again.
oh, if you think some of those answers were scary, you have missed out. Because, let's just say, when you get a couple of us in particular on a roll on a specific topic to joke about, what you saw was tip of the iceberg. Like, we kept it clean-ish for a reason.
None of those answers were really clean. I mean,
Clean-ish.
they weren't even cleanish. They were scary answers. I mean, like, what's a good item to give away once you run out of Halloween candy?
What's wrong with random sex toys that you don't use anymore?
As long as they're clean.
That wasn't the one I was referring to.
I know, but that was the one that didn't win.
No, Jared, what you need to do is give them a mixtape of my various clips like this one.
Basic trigonometry.
Just pushing your luck with that one, huh?
Always. I don't even know it's all on the sound panel, actually. I just threw it onto one.
Oh, freaking ugly German truth. That was the wrong sentence to come in here, too. Now, to be fair, the prompt before that was actually a bit lower, a bit worse, if you really want to look at it, because the prompt was a Halloween costume that you shouldn't have your children in. And the options would actually make for a great couple's costume idea, but not for a kid, because one option was the Pope, the other one was naked.
No, it is.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is have somebody come in as the Pope, and then have somebody else, have a couple come in as Adam and Eve.
No, we had a lot of Catholic Church pedophile jokes going.
Oh, gotcha.
It was bad.
So news stories. Okay.
Oof.
Pretty much. And as Leon says, wrong sentence or the Reich one?
Oh my goodness. Wah, wah, wah.
That's the types of jokes that we had going. And again, that was tame, and those that you saw were tame.
I'm just wondering why Ugly German Truths is back, because he did suffer through Generations talk today. I thought he needed a break.
I only did I suffered through only part of it. I had to go.
Yeah, you saw where it was going. It's like, yep, I got to get out of here. Later.
Yeah. I mean, I love Star Trek as much as the next gal, but yeah, I had a bunch of things I had to get done.
Well, unfortunately, I had the opportunity not to actually interact with it at all as far as a panelist, yet I still clicked on the link to join.
How could you?
He's
I did serve in the Navy on a submarine. I mean, what else do I need to say?
So glutton for punishment, then.
That's putting it mildly.
So, have you watched the Netflix show Space Force yet?
No, but I have heard about the reference yet. I have heard of the reference to it.
Yeah, I've heard people mention it. I haven't had the time to watch it yet. Because even though I was out of town for 3 days, most of it was traveling. The other bit of it, I was either asleep or at the customer site.
Ah, gotcha. Well, I mean,
I've watched the first episode so far.
So okay, so you know what I'm talking about. What I'm about to bring up. They have it's a very on the very first episode. They actually have like one person from each, one 4-star general from each for a cabinet meeting, and then the extra person is of course Steve Carell, who is going to be the new leader of the Space Force, the founder or whatever. And it's really, really funny because they're all going kind of getting jabs.
Oh,
And then the very last jab is the Coast Guard guy who is literally a redheaded dude. So I'm like, oh, we're still the redheaded stepchild. It was really, I think the first one, I mean, it could have been funnier than it was, but I mean, it's Steve Carell, so it's like whatever.
it's funny, but I mean, it's not like,
Yeah,
yeah. It's,
I'm not dying of laughter. Like,
yeah.
More
I mean-
intellectual humor.
yeah,
Nah,
No.
it's
it's just dumb.
Well, dumb can be rip-roaring funny. It's all in how it's presented.
This is true. I mean, I think that even I don't know if you like that type of humor, then maybe you'll like it. They did a good job trying to kind of be true to the military, and so there's some really funny like in the very beginning. They show him not being able to take to change very well. Like he gets out of bed, fixes his bed, like to, hospital corners and everything else. And then he'll go and walk up and then do an about face and then walk back, back to like he's marching and then get back in bed. Like, there's just some ridiculous things where you're just like,
it kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of Police Squad,
yeah.
but it really hasn't found its footing yet, though. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
That was the whole time I was like, but Police Academy was like funnier.
I'm not talking about Police Academy, but Police Squad, like the
Oh,
Naked Gun type stuff, but the show.
Yeah, the show inspiration for the movies.
It's like there's funny stuff, but it's kind of delivered a bit deadpan.
Yeah.
And like there's potential, but I don't think they really. It could be done better, but it's not bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did throw it together
Yeah.
they threw it together really fast, so it's good for what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
There's
like,
potential there, and it could
Right.
maybe it'll be better next season. I don't know. We'll see, but
yeah,
or
because
maybe later in the season. I haven't finished the first one. I've only got the first episode. I'm going to watch the rest of them, but because it's not bad.
Yeah.
It is funny, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's just,
But I like the little like in jokes for like the military and stuff like that. It's kind of fun. So
Mm.
that's why I watch it.
Ugly German Truce brings up a good comparison there. What was your opinion of Dragnet, the actual movie?
Oh gosh.
Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd.
I don't know if I saw that.
I haven't watched that in forever.
I
If I
like,
did, it was years ago.
I like that movie. Sue me. I liked it.
Not saying you liking it is a bad thing. It's just
It's
I
not the best
haven't-
movie ever.
I think the last time I watched Dragnet was probably about a decade ago, but I mean, it was a funny movie. I mean, it's not one that I like frankly like, oh, I got to go see Dragnet again or anything. But I mean,
well, shit. Compared with everything else that they've been putting out lately, why not go back and watch it?
Right? I mean, why not? Maybe that'll be a good movie for movie night.
Yeah, I mean, we do have Spaceballs and History of the World on the list to get through, too, because that's actually kind of what started, is the fact that we were like, okay, what new movies out there are actually good and worth watching? And it was tough coming up with a list, and I was like, you know what about this movie? And someone mentioned, I think it was Blazing Saddles, and it's like, yeah, they can't remake that movie. And it just got us going on to the thought process of, okay, what other good
History of the
movies?
World.
Yeah, what other good movies from way back could
I don't
not
even
be
think they could get away
redone
with
now?
Men in Tights again.
Definitely not.
Men in Tights is a tough one.
It's in that gray area where
Yep.
it's just liberal enough that people they could let it go, but there are some very stereotypical things that, especially with the current climate of things right now,
Oh yeah.
might not be allowed.
Achu?
Well, they would.
Wait. Blinken, I would like you to meet Achu. A Jew here? No, not a Jew. Achu.
True. Yeah. There's so many funny. Shanghai Noon. Oh God. That was a terrible movie, but yet a great one.
It's not as if Robin Hood Men in Tights is as bad as Blazing Saddles.
Oh no, older Mel Brooks is definitely worse on that. That's where I
It's
say
not as good either.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's something about seeing Bea Arthur in that movie, knowing her liberal mindset. even at the time.
You're a bullshit artist.
Yes.
Did you
Hey,
bullshit
hey, hey.
today? Did you bullshit yesterday?
Hold on. You guys are stealing my thunder. You know what I've been doing lately with a lot of my movie clips.
You're getting one
You
prepped.
haven't.
That's her,
Oh.
right?
More links coming your way there.
Excited.
Oh.
I'm a stand-up philosopher.
You know, I guess my comedy preference is a little bit different. Like, my husband really likes The Office and that type of thing, so he's really enjoying Space Force. But it's just not my choice for comedy. So I'm trying to think, like, I can't think of a TV show or a movie that has really just made me laugh so hard since, like, Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Okay. Well, I'm just going to say this right now. This is another movie that could never, ever be remade.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, very true.
Classic.
And, yeah, I only bought the Blu-ray version because the link that I sent you is the remake of the original version I made
Awesome.
with the 480p clip that I downloaded off of YouTube.
Awesome. I can't wait.
And then I took another. I actually
Closest
premiered
thing we
this
have-
one with.
Yeah, it's not really much in the modern climate that kind of relates to, like, so maybe like, YouTube channels.
But that's the whole point of it.
Yeah, it just really.
You know what's really sad though is the second one that I'm sending you is literally like a minute long. And I set it as a premiere, and I made people suffer through the premiere music for a 1 minute video.
That's fantastic.
Again, Submariner. Are we surprised?
Right.
Your intro was longer than the video.
No, you know what is I've been listening to podcasts a lot. My favorite podcast right now is D&D Minus by the Puzzle in a Thunderstorm guys. That literally have me laughing my ass off. So funny.
Yeah, I've been torturing myself because most of what I've been listening to and throwing on in the background when I can while doing stuff and driving
Yeah.
has been recordings of people ripping into Darth Dawkins.
Yes. Yeah, that's another
Is that
one.
really torture, or is that more of just like free access to a comedy nightclub?
To cringe?
No, it is definitely torture because I've had
Cringe.
one direct interaction with Gary, with Darth Dawkins, and he didn't like that when he tried to start playing the mute game on me, I just left.
Oh, well, I've had one interaction with Darth, and I came in and I asked him whether or not he believes that there was a chance that people might leave Christianity because they don't want to be associated with him.
I'm sure that went over like a ton of bricks.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
oh, I have a feeling he didn't even answer and instead tried to start attacking you.
He started his script. Well, you don't have a coherent worldview as an atheist. And when I would clarify my position of where I stood, and I tried to answer him as clear as I could, and he kept saying that I was being evasive. And,
Yeah, because you weren't given the answers that he was looking for.
right. Running the script. And so, but yeah, I love Tom Rabbit's channel. And have you seen the
Lance
Darth
plays.
quiz?
Yeah, got so Tom Rabbit, Lance plays, Darth Dawkins' greatest hits. Those come up frequently for me.
Yeah.
But one thing, one of them that came up recently, and I'm not sure how long ago it actually happened, but there was an unmoderated discussion between Darth and T-Jump that took place on the Ask Yourself Discord server.
Really?
Yeah, it was interesting because normally I give T-Jump a hard time because a lot of his thinking process and everything is flawed, but I will give him this one. He actually got it over on Dawkins because he actually got him to give an answer to the question of how does your preposition of God justify the ultimacy of reality that he asserts.
Really?
Yeah, and so he actually got an answer from Darth of what the conditions were that justified the ultimacy being God, and T-Jump was like, okay, I can use all the same criteria in the same exact way and justify it by saying nature.
Right.
What's the difference?
That's brilliant.
And Darth got so fucking pissed at it.
Of course. Oh gosh, that's great.
Where I pissed him off when I went into when he was still on the politics server was I went and I asked him, I was like, let's just start off with one thing. Could you be wrong? And he did not want to answer that question. He went full defensive. It was like, what? Why does that even matter? To which I responded is, it judges the type of person that you're interacting with. An honest person will actually recognize and admit that they could be wrong about anything.
Did you see the website though that has the Darth Dawkins quiz where it basically shows him answering questions both ways?
I have not seen that one.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Okay, hold on. I'm gonna find it for you. It's the best.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I brought that up, and I actually said it goes to the honesty of the person that you're interacting with. And it was like, why does honesty matter? Because oh yeah, a Christian apologetist, a pre-supper, doesn't care about honesty. Shocking, I know.
So, Jared, I'm debating on which should be the next video that I watch.
Uh-oh.
This one? My biggest failure yet?
Or the pain of progress?
Not pain of progress I'll watch later. I know that.
Okay.
But the Audient Evo 4, I just looked it up on Amazon. It is basically the same price as the Focusrite Solo. But it gives you an extra mic input like the 2i2 does.
Interesting. So I wonder where the sacrifice is.
That's why Booth Junkie has reviewed it. Uh-oh. Do I have to share something now?
Yes. Go ahead and load that up.
Okay, let me stop presenting really quick. See if I can actually scare myself first.
I don't even know how we got on this subject, but you know what? It works.
It's a show about nothing.
It's the greatest show about nothing on YouTube. Please read carefully. All questions on this exam are either true or false, multiple choice, or fill in the blank. Okay. Read the question, then click on your choice, then submit. After you click submit, you will be redirected to the next page and you will be given the correct answer and also proceed to the following question. You may take the exam as many times as you desire. It's a good idea to have a notepad handy so that if you score incorrectly, you can go back again on your second attempt or any attempt after that and select the correct answer. Oh boy. Disclaimer, to date, no one has been able to successfully pass this quiz due to the impossibility of the contrary. Oh, this is going to be great.
It's so fabulous.
First question is shown below. And remember, while taking the exam, if Darth says it, it must be so. Good luck. Question 1. According to Darth Dawkins, is the biblical God falsifiable?
C. Oh, sorry.
I feel like this is a trick question.
There are.
I'm going to say no, because he says that no, the Christian God is not falsifiable because God is omniscient and omnipresent and is justified in his action and everything according to his will. Gotta love that circular logic. God is true because God says it's true, and God is not falsifiable.
Absolutely.
Oh, here you go, Jared.
Oh, taking that quote from him. Oh, no, I get it. He says that, yes, God is falsifiable, but because of the Bible, God is true.
Yeah.
All right, question 2. According to Darth, could he be wrong about everything he claims to know? Seeing as how I have when he answered me, when I asked him that, his answer was no, because God is good. Yeah. But I'm sure that there's some time out there where he has said yes.
Of course.
See, and that's the thing, is he has said both. So no matter what, your answer is wrong.
Absolutely.
That's why I said C.
Of this website.
According to Darth, how many ways are there to falsify something? Darth said there's only one way you can falsify something, and that's through the law of non-contradiction. He has said that. According to Darth, there are several ways to falsify something. Yes, he has said that. He has said fucking both.
Like, can I do a control click and get both?
Right.
No. Well, we'll do this one and see what happens.
Now, question. Click the back arrow.
No back arrow?
Yeah, see if we can go back. All right, now let's... Okay, one just has more citations than the other.
It's the best website.
Oh, this is great.
And each one of those is a video too, so you can listen to like the context of it, which is great. And the guy tries to put like what he says on the side, but further down he hasn't transcribed some of the later questions. But so you can just listen to the videos for that one or not. But yeah, it is so funny. And there's a whole section after you get done with the quiz where you can read a lot of it. It's just
I'm
the guy put in
interested.
a lot of work.
I'm interested to see this one because, according to Darth, can one hold a neutral view about God? Oh, when I have heard him, it has been a hard no.
Right.
Like, agnostic is not a thing to him.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's true. That is true. He doesn't think agnostic or he doesn't really believe in atheist either. He
Well-
thinks that it is a intelligible.
Well, he says it's unintelligible, but what he says is no one is actually agnostic. You're just an atheist that doesn't want to admit it.
Yeah, that's right.
Fucking hell.
Do you want me to go back and select the other answer?
Yeah, let's see how many other instances that. Jeez. Oh. See, this is where they're actually using a wrong thing, because saying that so somebody could be neutral about the existence of Zeus. Okay, no. Darth does not accept Zeus or any of the other names of a deity as being God. There is only one God.
He's full of contradictions.
Have you met Gary Milne before?
Not in person.
Oh, probably a good thing. I wonder how many teeth he would
Absolutely.
lose.
Here, read this question, Jared.
Oh, God. According to Darth, since atheists cannot justify their worldview, and because their worldview is incoherent and unintelligible, he does not agree with any statement made from an atheist worldview. That should be true, but I'm interested to see what they have as a reference.
We'll start with false and go back and click true.
There's two different ones, so I can and cannot agree with an atheist, and one that's in disagreement.
All right, now back to true.
Oh yeah, and this one it is, yeah.
If you go back to any of the questions so far and change your answer, or still mark this wrong because DD is an inconsistent ass. Oh, that is so true, ML2.
True story.
It's not like we didn't know that going into this.
And I called it beforehand. You're probably
Right.
wrong no matter what.
But this highlights it so well.
All right. According to Darth, is it possible to do a coherent internal critique from another worldview other than one's own worldview? I feel like that's something he has most recently said no to, but at the same time, him being a dick, I can see him saying yes.
Right?
So I wonder which one they have as a reference for him saying yes.
Yeah.
All right, so first up is yes.
Oh, two different ones.
God damn.
No hypothetical worldviews. I think for that one, it is him talking about how, regardless everything that you try to critique, you'll always reference your own worldview.
Okay, hide the whiskey. Pure anarchy's here.
Too late, I drank it all.
I was gonna
Hey,
say.
you didn't say me any, you fucking cunts.
Why is
Nope.
the rum gone?
Because it was delicious.
That's all right. As soon as I eat, I'm going to the bar anyway.
Well, no, and here's the kicker, Pure. I just spent 3 days in Kentucky, in bourbon country, and because I was flying, I couldn't grab any of the good stuff to bring home with me.
Boo.
So basically, you failed at life.
Right.
The TSA failed at life.
Bastard.
Don't you have a badge to get around TSA?
Not at another airport, no. And actually doing that is a good way to lose your security badge at those airports.
I was gonna say.
I'm just
that
saying,
sounds
you
like
need to get one for every airport.
Yeah, I kind of can't do that. True or false? According to Darth, our most basic fundamental cognitive reasoning is God ordained, which necessarily means they can't be assumptions. I know he has said that verbatim.
So true it is.
Nope.
All right. I don't like that answer. We're gonna go with false.
Okay.
Because false is always correct.
What the fuck?
Isn't it great? It's so good.
How long is this quiz again?
I think it's only 10 questions. I could be wrong, but yeah.
Oh God.
According to Darth, which of the following is his starting point? Your presupposition can be considered your fundamental starting point. Well, yeah. You have to start with the laws of logic. Yeah.
Okay.
You start with the case that the Christian God exists. Okay, so far he has said all three. You start with the case that God exists and has revealed himself. Fuck. Darth said, before we can discuss God or anything else, you have to understand that there are certain rules of thinking.
Yeah, we need F. All of the above.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. All the above.
Well, because I mean, actually, B and E are basically the same thing.
Welcome to Darth Dawkins.
Yeah.
Pick a letter. Pick a letter. Anybody pick a letter?
Here, go with E.
E.
Yeah, let's go with E.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Go back and pick D.
It'll give you another 5 videos.
Yeah.
You are
All right, we can't just assume. Let's see C.
Yep. No. We're gonna work our way back.
Yeah. Okay. 3 out of 5. Yeah. All of them are going to go to the same 5 videos.
But we have to be thorough about this.
Yeah.
Because that's, you know.
So some questions, no matter what, you're wrong. Another question, no matter what, you're right.
You see what it says at the top in the web address bar, though?
This is incoherent.
It's great.
Oh my God.
Which a statement of fact or a preposition with respect to the context or system that it is derived from means what?
Oh God. Which of the following words means a statement of fact or a proposition with respect to the context or system that is intelligibility?
Wait, well, I
Yeah,
was
B.
saying that just because he says that all the time. Like,
Yeah.
oh, here we go. There's the neutral position, agnostic.
Oh my God.
No, because according to them, they're really atheists.
Yep.
All right. So the 3 position. Let's go with yes.
Yeah, see? Agnostics are the same as atheists. Uh, according to Darth, God is, by definition, personal and ultimate. Yes.
But of course he is. And of course he isn't.
Oh God! One of the times he called in to talk heathen. I
Yeah.
remember that one. Okay, sweet cheeks.
Didn't he call in as EF though?
Yes, evolution false.
Yeah.
Because had he called in as Darth Dawkins or Duncan Atheism or anything like that, they would not have taken his call.
Right.
Yeah.
True or false? According to Darth, a worldview is either true in its entirety, or it is not entirely true. Yeah. It does anyone else getting the urge to find him and use a course adjustment element on him, preferably one that's about, oh, I don't know, 18 inches long with an open end 1.5 to 2 inch span.
Hold on, I'm going to stop presenting for a second.
Sure.
It's pretty much just presumptionism in a nutshell. So
This will
That's
work
all they
just
ever
as good, Jared.
No. I'm talking about one of the good open end box wrenches that the probably our gang uses.
Ooh, Tom Rabbit just posted a new Darth video too.
Oh boy.
That to my must-watch list. I'm a glutton when it comes to. I don't know why. He is a garbage human, but I enjoy listening to him be ridiculous because I'm just like,
It's
wow,
that
someone
it's that
being
cathartic dose of, hey, I used to be in line with idiots like that, and now I've gotten away from them. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there is a little bit of that, but I think it's more along the lines of it's such a bizarre worldview, like how staunch he is, no matter how logical someone comes at him, you can, it's almost like you notice where the script is and if you can try to like get him off script, and then when he veers off script there's like these moments of like cognition where he just starts ad homing and you're just like mm-hmm.
And I was going to
Jared, if you're
respond
looking
to
for a wrench, can I offer you a suggestion?
Oh, hang on. Let me white box.
Use of the mute button, that's another one of his favorites.
Yeah, something about that size is kind of what I had in mind.
I don't know. I like Pure Anarchy's request in the internal chat here, Jared. How about a wooden bat with 16 penny nails sticking out?
Well,
The problem is, I wouldn't want to hurt the penny nails.
well, no, not just that. You're liable to get stuck. If anything, go with some proper razor wire and just use Lucille.
Okay. Yeah, Lucille's always good.
So, Ugly German Church says, I may have really tried to find a place for me in that church, but I never could, quote, believe, not in my brain to accept that much of hand waving.
I'd have to agree.
Yeah, I mean, last time I went to a church was probably 16, so I was a Mormon all the way up until then, and then that was when I really started because I wanted to prove the fact that God was true, of course. So I dug into it, and yeah, didn't take that long.
Oh God, not the uniformity of nature.
Oh, but isn't it the bedrock of all science and empirical
Well,
endeavor?
here's the thing. Both of them are statements that he has made. But he has actually made both of those statements one after the other.
I was gonna say, I think the video that it shows exactly that.
Ooh. Jinju has it right. The scene from Silent Hill with the Coturna wire. Yes. Oh, only 6 more questions to go. Ugh. Wow. Which of the following statements, according to Darth, is true? There is nothing that is self-evident. There is something. There is something that is self-evident. God.
Right.
I have heard him say that. Yay! And let me guess. If we go back and we'll see, there's things where he said that they're not self-evident.
Okay, so the one on the left is nothing is self-evident, and the ones on the right are self-evident. It said
That
self-evident more, so maybe you leaned more that way. I asked the guy who, and in fact, the second link that I put in there is of the guy who created this quiz on this website. He actually has a YouTube channel, and I actually asked him in one of the videos whether or not it would be possible, like, for Darth to change his mind. I said, I love your work on this, and I absolutely never want to steel man any of DD's insane ramblings. But wondering if... And then, let's see. And then
Was
I
you
said,
wish listening to porn again?
said, is it possible that he could claim that he has simply changed his mind, or that he's just, quote, playing devil's advocate or something? And he replied back saying that as far as I'm personally concerned, the dates are irrelevant for 2 major reasons, and I could list more. Number one, Darth was asked, quote, Darth, could you be wrong about everything you claim to know? And Darth's answer, quote, no. Number two, Darth has claimed numerous times in virtual every debate has ever had, as well as dozens of chats and since. He has said he's chatted with thousands of atheists in a 10-year period. And if that is true, this claim could reach into the thousands, and that his worldview, Christianity, is the only coherent worldview. And if Darth is willing to make such a statement, he better not change his mind.
Yeah. So, according to Darth, can the uniformity of nature be used to support and or stipulate a scientific position based on observations of results of experiment X? Oh, it depends. Are you trying to prove or disprove God? Because if you're trying to disprove God, then no. But if you're trying to prove God, then yes.
Go with yeah.
No, I'm gonna go with no.
Okay.
Oh, yep.
Me?
See that? Oh, I should have went with yes. I totally got the wrong answer there. Oh, wait, I was wrong again.
Oh shit.
Got a
What
nice video of a marine propeller.
What does Darth say to his opponent in a debate if something is definitional? What?
Oh, yeah, these are
Oh,
great.
both. But go with the
It-
second one.
I think I just felt my brain snap with that one.
Right?
Mhm.
I don't have to demonstrate it because it's true by definition. I think it's one
Oh
of
my god.
the...
That is presuptialism.
Yeah.
That's just definitional.
He is a presup.
Mhm. I hate that shit because they presup, They use presuppositions all the fucking time for everything, as if it's always a bad thing. Now, it can be.
Well, here's the thing: is where pre-suppers really go wrong is the circular reasoning. They say that circular reasoning cannot be used to support a position opposite of theirs, but they're perfectly fine with it being used to support their position because, well, it supports their position.
Right.
Well, they're people of standards, you know.
It's clear as mud.
Even if they are double.
Well, yeah, double standards are still, double. By
So, I mean,
definition.
the standards, it's plural. You got one standard for themselves and one for everybody.
Oh, God. The following question is not counted against you if incorrect. The question is not multiple choice. You must type your answer in the field below. If you do not know the answer, just leave the field blank and click on the little radio button and then click submit. What was Darth able to reduce about the real existence of reality and or the ultimate truth of reality? Type your answer below.
God. Pie is good.
Oh wait, I didn't follow the directions right. Let's try this again. Pie is great! Exclamation mark. Then submit. Hey, I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. He knew the real answer, but
Right. You should have put 42 in.
Oh shit! Another bonus question.
Another. Please read the list below, then answer the question. Darth doesn't know what real means. Darth doesn't know what reality is. Yes, I have heard him admit that recently.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. There we go.
Darth doesn't know what reduce means. Darth doesn't know what existence is. Darth doesn't know what self-evident means. Darth doesn't fully understand God's properties and attributes. Darth doesn't fully understand the hypostatic union. Darth doesn't understand the divine nature. Darth doesn't fully understand the mind of God. Darth doesn't fully understand the mind of humans. Darth doesn't fully understand the mind of humans, which would include every human, even himself. Darth doesn't understand what the ultimate truth of reality is. Darth doesn't know what the intricacies of agency. Question: what does Darth usually say to his debate opponents when Darth asks them on what do you base your worldview and or reasoning on, and they say, I don't know. So your ultimacy for reality is I don't know? Oh, that's a good one.
You're not my worth. Yeah, I was going to say something.
But going back to on that list though, really quick. He says he doesn't understand he doesn't fully understand the mind of God. Nobody does, because he's supposedly an electrical engineer and a flat earther.
Oh no! Actually, come to find out, there's a really interesting facet to that one.
Really?
He started to go for electrical engineering, but guess who was the actual master's level electrical engineer?
His mom.
His dad.
That's funny.
What's really bad is there were a few debates where he used to tout his academic background, including getting a master's of electrical engineering, specializing in communications. But I decided to go into finance and accounting instead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, six-figure job a year. Decided to go with $20,000 a year.
Hey, I mean, you do you, boo. I mean, if that's his passion, if he has a passion for numbers,
All right, let's get this last one out of here so that way I can share.
That requires assuming he has enough brain cells to keep himself functionally breathing.
Well, thus far he has achieved breathing state. So
Well,
What would Darth tell you if you say that something must be so due to the impossibility of the contrary?
the words.
According to
oh,
Darth, if one says that something must be so due to the impossibility of the contrary, that would just be definitional. Actually, his more recent response isn't even listed here. So you know the impossibility. Have you been able to prove that it is impossible to the contrary? He has gone to hard solipsist arguments without accepting a hard solipsism.
oh
Right, I was
God.
gonna say he's not a hard solid.
No, no. He says he's not, but listen to his arguments. He is.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah.
Due to the impossibility of the contrary.
Oh, wow. Oh, so we scored a 16.6, but needed a 16.7 to pass. Nice.
Damn. Oh. All right, and to give everybody some sort of reward for that, let's drag this over.
Yo, the pupper.
Puppy. Look at
This
damn
is
ears.
logical, baby.
Yeah, Logical Troglodyte has been all about the Beagle puppy lately.
Oh, it's so cute.
Even has a YouTube channel for her.
Seriously, those ears. Oh my goodness, those ears.
Yeah, she'll grow into him soon.
Oh, they're so cute. Oh,
The
little
puppy
teeth.
teeth.
I am so down. I need to follow this puppy.
Weekly Beagle on Twitter.
Right? I mean, that's literally what Twitter's supposed to be for.
There you go, everybody in the live chat.
Yes, if you need that routine pick me up, go see the Weekly Beagle.
Doctor's orders, right?
Which
Sure.
doctor are we talking? Navy corpsman or an actual doctor?
As if the corpsman is a doctor. Ever.
Hey, we all call him Doc for some reason. Oh, what did I miss from Leo the other day?
Who? Huh? What?
Frog Leap Studios video from yesterday.
Oh.
Covered Material Girl.
Yes. Yes. He has fun with the puppet.
Oh, when doesn't he have fun with the puppets?
Are you wondering who we're talking about, Coral?
I was actually getting distracted because I was trying to figure out what to do for dinner. I apologize.
I have some pizza, and I can neither confirm nor deny whether or not pineapple is a topping on it.
Ooh, I like pizza, and my pizzas always have pineapple on it. Always. It's a requirement.
Interesting.
Yes. I order mine double pineapple, double black olives.
There's a lot of controversy around here about pineapple.
I know. I like the sweet and savory together, so even when I was neither, I would have it. I would do pepperoni, black olive, and pineapple, and extra cheese.
Oh,
So I agree with you. At times I like pineapple and pizza. So, like I wouldn't do it all the time.
God.
plenty of time.
But time and place.
Yeah. If you're in Canada, since they invented that shit, that's pretty much a requirement.
Oh no, the Hawaiians have adopted that shit to the max.
I was gonna
Oh,
say.
they may have adopted it, but
Oh,
the Canadians are the one that first introduced it.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not denying that bit. But the way I look at it is, you got to balance the sweet and the savory. You can't do too much of the sweet, but at the same time, I think you would really enjoy a proper Brazilian barbecue, because one of the things that they bring around for you is grilled pineapple.
ooh. Oh, that just.
Fogo de Chao.
You are going to make me drool. That sounds amazing.
I don't know that they have. Hold on.
What are we holding on to?
Right.
I'm going to look at the menu of Fogo de Chao.
Well, so for those who were curious, if you ever have a chance, especially for the U.S. based people, if you ever have a chance after all of the nonsense is done and over with, to take a cruise on a Norwegian cruise ship,
oh yes,
do it, because most of their ships have a Brazilian barbecue that is actually served like that, where people will walk around with everything on the spit rod.
Let's go back to this.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do this so people can
Oh
see it
yeah,
better.
I've been to a Brazilian steakhouse like that. It was back when I was a meat eater, and they literally have the little cards or whatever they can flip over and say whether or not you
want more or not. Yeah.
And you can flip it as many times as you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and they do a similar service like that on a number of the Norwegian cruise ships, and it's one of the buy-up restaurants, but oh damn, is it good and worth it.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm getting a ton of propeller images now, and I don't.
Not for me.
No, they're from Leon.
So, Coral on Discord, I sent you the latest puppy video from the Weekly Beagle.
Oh my goodness.
You have to go watch that.
Oh my goodness.
And these headphones are about toast.
Oh, that beagle is so cute.
Well, of course, it's a pupper.
I know.
But just wait till she starts yapping and doesn't shut up.
Yeah, my dogs. So I have 2 dogs of my own, and then my sister has 2 dogs, and my 2 dogs are Beagle Bassets. So I got the best of both worlds, and they definitely rue.
All I can think about now is grown-ups.
Mm.
Why does your dog sound like a turkey? Not that I would ever advocate for that, but that just that whole running joke with that thing is great. Where should we go?
Well, so if you want to see a good cruise, in my opinion, to go on, click Bermuda as a destination.
Oh.
Bermuda cruises. Got it.
Like lost in the triangle.
Either one.
Oh.
Either one.
Assholes are really deep loathing assholes.
It's easier to get in and out of Boston, though.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Boston.
Oh, let's see here. We're gonna go. October sounds good.
Yep.
Just after the hurricane season, but it's still nice enough that.
Oh, it is beautiful down there that time of year. Not that I'd know from experience or anything.
Right.
So
that's not at all.
Oh, that's a nice one.
That is for that much per person. That is an inside stateroom, no windows.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh yeah. I mean that's fine.
I'm
Spend most of your
never
time
in my
outside
room
the room
anyways,
Yeah.
except to sleep.
Yeah, except the problem is with no windows, you lose track of the time. Like I've slept through alarms because of how dark the inside rooms are.
That is just fine with me. Like,
But so if you actually look at the travel itinerary for it,
All right, 2 ports of call, Boston, Bermuda here, and then back to Boston.
yep,
All right.
typical 7-day cruise out of Boston. You leave Friday afternoon.
hmm
You get to Bermuda Sunday mid late morning.
hmm
You leave Tuesday evening.
Yep,
Oh,
there
so
you
you're
go.
only there for like a day and a half.
What? No,
Yeah,
so
but most cruises you stop at a port for like maybe 8 hours a day at the most,
yeah.
Wow.
and you're off to the next one. Here, I'll pull up Disney really quick.
Well, no. On Norwegian, pull up one of the Caribbean cruises with multiple ports.
Wrong. So go to Caribbean.
I haven't been on a cruise. I mean, I always say I have never been on a non-working cruise.
Yeah. No, leave out of Miami,
Oh,
Miami
come
or
on.
New York, because this will display it just what is actually going on.
I'll go for the same time frame, just for
Simplicity's
sake of
sake.
yeah. Come on. Then we'll just go with the first 7-night one here. Ooh, that one will be a good one.
All right.
So Western Caribbean out of Miami. You leave Miami. You're at sea from Saturday night all Sunday. Then you're in Roatan on Monday, in Honduras. Then you're in Belize on Tuesday. Then you're in Mexico on Wednesday. Then you're in another spot in Mexico on Thursday. And then you're back in Miami Saturday morning. That is a typical cruise. You pull in,
Yeah, this is a typical cruise.
you pull in the morning, you leave around dinner.
Wow.
You pull. So you leave, 4 p.m. Eastern is when you leave the port, and then you get back in at 7, and you're probably on the ship or off the ship by
9.
9:30 at the latest. At the
Yeah.
Wow.
absolute latest.
That's amazing.
They have these turnarounds like clockwork.
Yeah, because as you're getting off, they're offloading your checked luggage in the morning at one end of the ship. They're bringing on supplies on the other. Then once they have all your luggage off, all the people who are checking in, they start unloading their stuff around 11 for the people who checked in that early. So typically around noon is when they start letting people in the higher price staterooms go on board and start mingling around. But yeah, they're doing a complete clean prep turnaround of the rooms between when the offgoing customers are off the boat between 7 and about 10, and when they're start letting people on around 1. In 3 hours, they go through all the rooms.
That's impressive.
So Disney Cruise Line, this is a great cheat, and I love it. Disney Cruise Line has their Castaway Club, which is their frequent cruiser program.
hmm
Basically, the time you take your first cruise and get back, you've earned one cruise, regardless of how many days or nights it is. People will book back-to-back 3 and 4 night cruises.
And just stay on the
Just-
boat.
Yeah, so they have to get off like everybody else, but their stuff stays on board. Or it actually will go through the luggage route back in. But the funny thing is each cruise counts as a separate cruise. So they literally will earn one the first cruise, earn a second one the second cruise, and they've been known to do it for a month at a time just to rack up as many cruises as they can.
Wow.
Oh, my wife and I have joked about retire when it comes to retirement time. Just get a little 1-2 bedroom apartment down in like Miami, and go on a cruise. Do a couple back-to-back cruises. Stay in the apartment for about a week as we're doing laundry and swapping out clothes and whatnot, and then go back out on the cruise for a couple weeks, back out to, and just
Well,
rotate like that.
Sounds good to me.
There have been people who had so much money left over from retirements and stuff, from, like their spouses passing away and stuff, that they don't want to live at home. They will book extended cruises. Like they're literally on the same ship doing a complete route around the Pacific, or
Wow.
going through the entire Atlantic, Mediterranean, back around for the entire summer season.
The lady that she retired, her husband left her like a fortune. She spends $250,000 a year. She basically lives. She's a permanent resident on that cruise ship.
Yep.
So there's several of them.
Yep, because it's cheap. It's actually cheaper to be on the cruise than it is to be in a house.
That makes sense, though. I mean, if it's $1,000 or $500, $629 for that other one.
That's per person, per stateroom, before any taxes and fees. Now, here's the thing: this is where Norwegian is a little shifty on how they display their pricing,
Okay,
because
I'll pull that back up here in a second.
minimum occupancy for any of their rooms is 2 people.
Yes, and
Really?
yeah, and the same is true with most cruise lines. It is a dual occupancy, like hotel rooms. They're
Well-
technically dual occupancy, and they
Okay.
don't really have single rates. They have the one rate. So
Yep, that's why my grandmother, when her sister was alive, my great grandmother, they always went together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like
here we go.
for you and your husband to go, that 630 per rate on the room, that's 630 each of you. Or like that one, 650 each. So your actual total cost for the 2 people is going to be 1,300 plus taxes and fees. And part of those fees that you can prepay if you choose, which I recommend you do just to make it fucking easy.
Yeah.
They have a daily gratuity rate for your room steward, because even the cheapest room, you have a steward that is automatically paid per room, per day, per person. It's typically not much. It's typically about
Let's see if they have their list. If they have
$5 to $12 a person. But yeah, you can prepay that for the length of your cruise, but it's still recommended. You can pay your stateroom fee in addition to you can pay the steward a tip in cash as well.
And depending on how well they do, generally, most people will prepay their gratuities for all of the people that are kind of the main tip getters, and then they'll also have cash on hand to tip out extra if they're getting really good service or not.
Jeez.
Disney does it as well. I've only been on a Disney cruise, but I did work with a company called KHM Travel. They do they basically set you up as a independent travel agent.
Mm-hmm.
You get their credentialing until you work your way up through the system to earn your own information, CLIA numbers, and stuff like that. But basically, with Disney, you pay for your room, or your host, or basically your room steward, which is usually 1 or 2 people, kind of on a rotation, depending on the day, depending on what time of day. Which includes, in the morning they tidy up your room, remake your bed. At night they come and do turn down service for you. And they also make towel animals for you on the Disney cruise. I don't know what they do on others.
Nor- Norwegian, it depends on the steward. Some of them do, some of them don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was that?
Said that's adorable.
They quite are. Uh, Speaking of that, Jared, you know that hard drive I lost?
Yeah.
I just got the email back. They weren't able to recover anything.
Oh, that fucking sucks.
That was like almost all of our cruise footage.
Oh no.
Oh,
Now I had it saved on another one, but this was all the stuff that I worked, like the project itself. So I have to start the entire project from scratch.
Oh, fuck. See,
3
that's the
years
part
worth of
that
work.
sucks. That's the part that sucks.
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
sorry for that.
Then you also have your head server in the dining room, who doesn't really do much of anything, but is kind of like the hostess that checks up on you, make sure you're doing okay, but doesn't actually really get you too much unless the wait staff is busy. You have your head server, which is your basically your waiter or waitress, and then you have your um, second server, which is kind of your drink getter, so to speak. There was one more that you generally pay for as well, pre-gratuity.
So, on Norwegian, it is literally just your stateroom steward. Because their dining otherwise is the only time that you actually have to set a reservation for dining that you have to are the additional pay, the bonus pay, the upcharge restaurants. Other than that, your included restaurants on a Norwegian cruise show up to eat when you want.
Isn't it like buffet too?
It depends on which restaurant you go to. There is a restaurant that's open, that is buffet style, that is open damn near 24/7, typically up off of the pool decks. Other than that, the rest of the restaurants on Norwegian are typical more sit down style, but only a couple of them are actually included in your regular rate. The rest of them are an additional charge per visit.
So
What is Palo?
Palo is their Italian restaurant. Remy
Oh.
is their French dining restaurant on their other ships. So Palo's on all 4 of the current ships for Disney. Remy is only on the 2 newest ships, the Fantasy and the Dream. And it's basically a 3 or 4 star Michelin star restaurant. It costs you a bit. I mean, for those that don't have a problem with paying the mouse, you get pretty good service on the cruise ship. Like this is per person, not per night, but for the length of the cruise to divide it between 7 days.
Oh wow.
But then add up the rest of them.
I was gonna say you add them all up, so that's $63 for the students.
63.70. You're at about $100 for a
They
7-night cruise.
The 7-night cruise used to be right around this pricing when I went. So it was like $56 or something like that for the whole per person, which isn't that bad. But with everything going on, you kind of can't help but understand that they would raise the price. Doesn't mean you have to pay it, but doesn't mean that you have to be okay and book your cruise through them to pay it. But at the same time, it's my stateroom hostess. She was the best. I ended up tipping her an extra like $20 for the whole cruise.
Aww.
So, room service, they say at your discretion. This is where you really need to have cash on hand. This is the only time on the ship you use cash the entire time. Everything else is done through your
charge to the
key
room.
to the world card, which unfortunately I don't have here right now. It's at the new house. But yeah, basically, think about how much you're gonna want room service, and that will kind of warrant how much cash you're bringing on hand with you for on the ship. And they do have safes on board, so like you can leave cash in the safe when you're not in the room.
Yeah, that was another thing is each time my wife and I have gone on a cruise, there's a safe in the room, and when we get in and are actually able to go to our room and drop some stuff off, the first thing I do is our our passports, our regular state IDs, and any cash we have that we do not want on us at that moment while waiting for push off, all of that goes into the safe and gets locked up immediately. Because when you're on the ship, the only thing you really need is that room card that works
Yeah.
as your ID when you're on the ship.
That makes sense.
They do a dinner and they do a brunch here. Same thing with the I don't know that they do a brunch in the French restaurant. But this, at the time that I went, was an additional $30 per adult, and it has to be somebody over the age of 18 or 18 or older. And it is reservation, and it is
Nicer
there is a dress code.
Yeah. And that's another
No jeans.
Yeah, that's another thing. Some cruise lines have a higher dress code for most of the restaurants than others. That is a nice thing with Norwegian. They see it as an actual vacation. So that whole they've termed it freestyle cruising, where you only have to dress up for certain restaurants, and they're the buy up, and those are the only
Same
ones.
with Disney.
Yeah, those are the only ones you have to make reservations for.
Disney does kind of have a dress standard when it comes to the regular restaurants like Rapunzel's Royal Table, Tiana's Place, where you can't show up in like swimming outfits.
Yeah.
You know, but if you're wearing a polo and like Docker shorts or something like that,
Yeah.
you're fine. But Animator's Palette's not a buy up. Where's Remy? This is the French one on the other two cruise ships. Oh, they do a brunch. Did they list the price? 3-star Michelin restaurant.
Nice.
Or chef who's there.
So I put in the mates chat. There's a YouTube link about the lady that lived on. Well, at that time was 7 years, but spent more than a decade on the cruise line. If anybody's interested in watching that,
here's the dinner service for that. The French restaurant.
Jeez.
$125 per person.
Jeez.
But I mean, again, you're talking about getting food from a 3-star Michelin rated chef.
Oh yeah.
It's not.
It's not cheap.
Oh no. Are you saying it's not truck stop food?
There are times where I think truck stop food is better than some of the stuff you get at these types of restaurants.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, it depends. Are we talking space truck stop restaurant like what Philip J. Fried had? Because those worms were kind of useful.
And then here's the dinner, $40 at Palo.
Mm.
And then if you want to do the wine pairing with it, it's a $59 charge per person on top of your $40 per person.
No, that's not bad. I spend that just here in fucking Montana for myself.
Now, the one thing that I will say that Norwegian has above Disney is the well, you saw it on the on that one trip that I was looking at. It was
Oh yeah, the Bermuda trip being, or were you talking about the?
oh, there was the
Western
Bermuda trip.
Caribbean.
It was the I didn't want to keep going back. Sorry, it's the open bar basically.
Oh yeah. So here's a nice thing with Norwegian. Alcohol service once we push off is pretty much 24/7. Now, what those are additions that you can get. You can either have it as a free at sea perk where you can have the open bar, which is soda and alcohol unlimited, or there is a per drink charge if you don't do any beverage plan. I highly recommend actually doing at least a soda plan, because if you drink between when we did the math, it was if we averaged between 2 and 3 drinks a day that were not water or juice, we broke even.
Oh wow.
And that's
Now-
and that's not even including the alcohol. That was just the soda
Yeah.
increase. Now, if
Now
you
Disney.
do the
Oh, go ahead.
alcohol one, if you do 3 drinks, soda, like 1 or 2 sodas, and then 1 alcoholic beverage a day, you break even. Or when we last did a cruise the other year, you broke even.
Yeah, and with Disney, they don't have, um, they don't charge you for the sodas, but you get like a tiny cup for free. So if you want to bring your own like mug or your own water bottle to fill with soda, you can do that. You just have to use their cup to fill with. So
So you're like, tinky, tinky, tinky,
pretty much,
Yeah.
tinky.
it's probably about 4 or 5 ounce cup in it that it is. I think.
That's hysterical.
Yeah, and that's the thing is the smaller, like 6-ounce glass is your typical free cup that's given, but when you do one of the beverage packages with Norwegian, you actually are given a tumbler cup that's actually insulated,
Yeah.
and it is a 14 or 16-ounce cup. So you actually get a full-size drink in there.
Now this is just one of their standard dining rooms on the Disney Cruise Line. That's fancy enough. You shouldn't need to pay for the extra upcharge. Restaurants. This is actually the ship we went on before they did their conversion, and the conversion, they took out one of the staircases. They used to have a dual grand staircase that came down in the center, and now they only have the one.
Oh, if you want to see a good ship that's is nicely renovated inside, the Norwegian Dawn. It's one of their smaller ships, but it's the ship that I've done all my cruises on, and it is
Norwegian Dawn, you said?
yeah, the Dawn. I'm actually looking at the deck plans right now because trying to remember which restaurants were where.
Well, that's the beauty of the internet, is that I already have their ships pulled up.
Yeah, so right there, the
Oh.
Dawn. So, like I said, it's
What
one
ship
of
was it that broke the? Sorry, I just remembered something from a couple years ago. You know where Ketchikan is, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've been there, right, Coral?
I've been there a few times.
All right. You know where the cruise ships pull up the very first pier, one of the Norwegian cruise ships took it out. Like, you heard about that?
Uh-huh. And in fact, I heard about that, but I also, what some people might not know about was that there was a rumor that there was I believe, a certain ship. Someone actually took out a pier over in Dutch Harbor as well. Was it Dutch Harbor? No, it was St. Paul Island. Yes.
It's probably a celebrity.
that's no good.
Oh, there's video of it. I'll see if I can find one here, but let's take a look at the deck plan. We have a deck plan.
Yep, scroll up.
Oh, basically a Benihana.
Yeah, they have a hibachi in there. That's one of the up price
Oh, yeah.
ones. But if you scroll up for the deck plans, what's on board? Then right down below that image right there.
Although that's a nice image. No offense, Coral.
Pass.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna go to the bar. I'll catch y'all later.
Later.
That sounds good. Have
The bar's
fun.
right here. It's O'Shanahan's.
Well, which that actually used to be so between the first and second cruise we went on there, they actually redid that bit. It used to be Oceans on one side, and the other was, I want to say the name of it was Moderno.
Hmm.
But now Moderno is. Where's it? Deck 13 that it's on. Yeah, now Moderno is up on 13. Which that's the one. That's the Brazilian barbecue.
Ooh.
And Cagney's, the steakhouse on that boat, is pretty good too.
The mojito bar actually sounds pretty good too. Especially when it's named Sugarcane.
Right? That's a great name.
See, that's just it. Is like people knock cruising because they think of it as like the old style, rich people thing. It's affordable for just about anybody, even as expensive as Disney is. Here, let me do. This is the typical cruise that my wife and I have been thinking about doing again because we went on it and it's a fun cruise. It's the Alaska cruise.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is you leave through Vancouver and just Canadians, ugh. Especially knowing that I'd be near Dick Dawson and all that, Here, let me change the date here.
I love Victoria, Canada. It's right next to Vancouver. Such a beautiful little town. And when we went there, it was, and I've actually been there once in the military and then once out of the military. And
now, unlike Norwegian, where they break it down literally by person, this is what it costs to book the stateroom, whether it's one person or two people.
Oh, wow.
So, but then obviously the more people you get, like especially with the concierge level, it can become more expensive.
Oh yeah, so just to prove a point, let's take a look at what the top tier suites are on Norwegian, which it pretty much gets you an apartment on the top of the boat.
Oh yeah, don't. We're looking at the suites.
Yeah,
I think we bored everybody out of the.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think I would want to do like at the top. I mean, the view is beautiful, but
You get your own little private deck.
yeah, that's the thing. There
With
are
a hot tub too. It looked like.
Mm-hmm. There are perks to it, but it's also a couple $1,000 a person.
right. I was gonna say though, can you go in? Is it like private? Can you be naked in it?
Those.
No, it depends on how. Well, I don't know about the deck plan per se for Norwegian specifically, but you can't do it on Disney. I can tell you that much. Because their concierge level, their high end level, still geared towards families.
Oh, boo.
So let's just book this one here really quick. I wonder if the Walt Disney Suite is available on this one. Well, they have the Walt Disney Suite, and they also have the Roy, his brother, Disney Suite. Basically, they're the exact same, just usually opposite sides of the ship.
Jared, did you see Red's message?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Somebody already booked it, but still.
Let's take a look at this.
Let's see if I can get the.
Yeah, let's look at this for not the coming birthday, but the birthday after.
Have to put it on a payment plan.
Well, and
that's the beauty of it.
That's another thing with a trip like this, of doing a cruise. You can plan it for up to 2 years out, I think it is, and
Most of them, yeah.
and your initial deposit for the total thing is only going to be probably a couple $100. But then the thing is, you have up to, I think it's 6 months before you sail, depending on how far out it is, to pay off the remaining balance.
Well, here, let me just book this one really quick, and we'll see what Disney has to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it would be. I would love to do the whole Disney thing minus all the children.
That's just it on the Disney
time
one.
of
They're
year.
all in the. They're all in their kids clubs. You hardly notice them. Hardly at all.
And NCL, the ones that have kids, the only time you really notice the kids is if you go during the middle of the summer when the kids are out of school to begin with.
Here, let's go midships.
Ooh.
Might as well.
Okay, so pricing for the Haven on the Dawn. To just take a guess what the per person cost is initially.
Oh, I don't know.
So here's the breakdown of the Disney one for the actual concierge level. That's my deposit due today if I were to book it.
Wow.
What is that about?
I mean, you could get a cheap car with that.
That's basically what I paid for my current car. But actually, my wife and I, our first cruise was actually on the Disney one. Close. I don't care. Was actually in an inside stateroom, and it was the deluxe inside stateroom, 214 square feet. It doesn't sound like a lot for people, but it actually not bad.
Yeah, that would be pretty decent.
Oh, as a matter of fact, the stateroom that we stayed in is available.
You can book the same room.
Yes,
I want to update my cart just so that way I can show you the difference, like what you could in reality expect to pay for a deposit. So basically about a fifth. So what, 20%? But the rest of this wouldn't be due until April 4th, 2021. So about 3 months, 90 days. And that's with Disney.
Yeah, so it goes from the Haven on Norwegian goes from 4,500 a person up to 11,200 a person.
Damn.
We want a balcony for this
That's
one.
a lot of money.
Do we want an aft-facing balcony or do we want just a standard balcony?
An aft one for sure. You want to look through the tail.
It's not a bad layout for two people.
Yeah, and you get a balcony. For up to 3 guests. That sucks though that it's per person. It's not like a hotel where you book per
room. Well, because keep in mind, so the pricing that we're seeing here, that's a way to think of it is this is your room, your transportation, your food, and a lot of that basic stuff that you would normally pay individually for a trip, for a vacation. This is all of that lumped into one. So think about like if you were to take a trip to Bermuda. This would cover the bulk of your travel there, your hotel there, you could eat all your meals on the boat, even when you're in port, if you wanted to. It's covered. Um, and then of course your travel back, and everything and entertainment stuff and whatnot in between during the travel. There's actually a lot that a cruise ends up giving you.
Yeah, it's always been on it's been on my bucket list. It's certainly something I've wanted to do for a long time. In fact, at one point we purchased we did actually purchase something. It was I think it was in an interstate room of something, and then we had to cancel because we need both. No, my husband went on furlough, and then there was something else that happened with me where I was just like, we cannot. Oh yeah, I remember now. The job that I was working on, they were. I basically had an interview for my own job back. It was stupid. But they were eliminating a department, and we didn't know whether or not I would be hired again.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, thank goodness. But at the time, we were like, well, we can't go on a cruise or anything, like, until we know whether or not.
What's actually going on financially, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then we just haven't been able to do it since.
No, and something that may help. If you get an idea of a cruise trip that you would want to go on, but are more flexible on time, they have websites and agencies that will actually get you slightly better price deals for last minute cruises.
Yeah.
The only thing that I have to worry about now, because back then I wasn't vegan, so now it's a little harder to find vegan ones. That most of the vegan cruises are based out of like Europe, and
Well, I'm going to try and spin you towards Disney a little bit then, because that's my experience. You actually let your travel agent, and I highly suggest anybody who's thinking of booking a cruise period, go through a travel agent, because you're paying the travel agency fee even if you book it yourself directly. You're not saving any extra money by booking it yourself.
Interesting.
It's part of the contract for travel, the way it's set up. But if you let if you book it on your own, or you go through a travel agent, when it comes time to book any dietary restrictions or anything, you let them know. Disney
And it'll
actually
be
has
covered.
separate cooking areas specifically for handling specialty diet needs, including veganism and others.
And allergies, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Norwegian's the same way. They have that built in to the way they do everything, that they do have the options. All you have to do is let them know about your allergies or dietary requirements when you're booking it. And in advance, they'll even give you an advance copy of the menu options. So if there's anything in addition to, or any tweaks that you need to let them know about, you will have time to communicate that with them.
Yeah, because I swear every single time I go to like an Omni restaurant that has vegan options, they put mushrooms on it, and I'm like, stop it.
Yeah, and with Disney, when you go on their cruise line, you actually, when you first board, you have the option to go sit down with the chefs and say, "Look, I am allergic to this, or I am vegan, and this is what I require for my diet." And they've already taken care of this because they knew ahead of time. But this gives them a face to the name, and they'll look up your dining plan. So, like, if you're in main seating and you're at table 23, they know specifically. They have a team literally just set aside to handle your meals.
No, that's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, and that's where Disney, they have that. With the freestyle eating aspect on Norwegian, they still have that information in the system, but there's not that dedicated crew just to you in that way. But at the same time, when you get hungry and feel like going and having lunch, you can just go and have lunch. Whereas most of your other cruise lines, it's like, okay, these are your window options of when you want to eat. And depending
Right.
on the cruise line, like there are some cruise lines that will do joint seating with staterooms. So like they'll have a table that can hold 6 adults. They'll have 2 or 3 staterooms dedicated to that table for each segment of the meal time.
Yeah.
They
Disney's kind of the same way too.
they will not
Oh.
serve your table until everyone is there for your dining window, unless
Oh,
you
that
tell
sounds stupid.
unless you tell them, hey, we're not going down for this meal.
That's
Yeah,
dumb.
Disney's not like that. They will group people together. It's like you may have like, say you don't specify that you want to sit by yourself with your husband and that's it. They can't always guarantee that, but
Right.
usually if you ask, they'll
Be like
try to accommodate.
Benihana's.
Yeah, they will put you on a table with like 4 or 5 other people.
Yeah, makes sense.
But the way I look at that is that's a great way for you to meet new people and talk with them. You know?
Absolutely. I love
Even if you have
those.
nothing else in common other than you guys sit and see each other at meals or at dinner meals, that's it. That's great. I will say this though about the lunches on the cruise ship. They're not as, I don't want to say they're not as vegan friendly, but it's not the same as dining for dinner. You just kind of show up to whatever restaurant's open, or you go up to the buffet.
I gotcha.
So,
Well,
I mean,
buffets generally have like salad stuff, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it's just
Although
if you-
that's not my favorite, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
from
like
I am not a rabbit, okay? Like I like the shit that I eat is I am a fast food vegan. I'm not very healthy. So-
I think you guys will get a kick out of this one from our favorite Primark out in the live chat. Rogel Dorn, going down for a meal is funny. It's a phrase that can be interpreted in many ways.
That is fabulous.
But yeah, I mean, cruising vacations have gotten a bad rap before, and it really is because that industry has changed from being very niche and high end to being more accessible to all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally paid for it on my paycheck with the retail company that I work with, and then used my tax return to pay it off the next tax cycle.
Oh, cool.
And then even last minute, my travel agent was able to get my mother-in-law added to our group at little to no extra charge because one, she gets half price at that point anyways. But my father-in-law literally passed away a few days after I paid for the cruise.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, it was one of those things that's like, we can't drop
Yeah.
off our dogs and leave them with her. And we ended
Yeah.
up deciding to move back anyway. So it's like, we're not going to leave you behind.
Right.
You're coming with us.
Right.
So.
And I think that would be a good distraction.
It was. She
Yeah.
enjoyed herself.
Good.
Other than the fact she had to ride up with some people she didn't want to. That's a whole other story. That's a good story, actually. But no, it was a fun trip. It was a little stressful at the beginning because our friends who we were riding up with from our house here in Washington to Vancouver didn't plan accordingly. I'm like, I want to be on the road by noon. We didn't leave here till almost 3:30 on a Sunday.
Oh,
Driving through Seattle
Oh no, yeah.
the week before Bumper
impossible.
Shoot.
I was gonna say, and what time of year was that?
Second to last full weekend in August, yeah.
So right at the beginning of football season.
Yeah. Well, it's still preseason, but it was the college football season. Yeah. It was not the best time to drive through that. And also, for some reason, there was a huge pileup on 101. Like, all right.
I mean,
So-
there's always a pile up.
I live half an hour away from Olympia right now.
Okay.
Our friends forgot something, so we had to drive all the way into Olympia because our Walmart up here didn't have what they were looking for. At noon, when I wanted to leave, we got stuck in traffic on the way into Olympia, got stuck on traffic on the way back from Olympia, and then got stuck in the same traffic again on the way out to go to the cruise. We didn't get to our hotel in Canada until about 9:30 that night.
Instead of being there for dinner.
Yeah. So we were lucky we got into everything shut down at like 10:30 except for one subway near the port, near the actual port. They closed at 11. We were coming in like right at 10 minutes till, and we're like, we are really sorry, we just got into town. We're up here at the Days Inn. There's nowhere for us to eat, and we need food. And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. She was a little miffed because it was one person. But we're like, if you want to lock the door and help us, that's fine. I don't care. We'll make this quick.
Right. Like, in and out, I promise. I won't be a dick.
Now, some would say that he planned appropriately. He just didn't plan effectively because of your brothers. Specifically Lorgar and Magnus.
Yeah.
Especially Magnus.
The one cruise that I want to do through Disney, because it just seems like it would be a blast, is this one.
Interesting.
I would love to go through the ditch.
Ah, gotcha. I've been through the ditch.
Right?
But
before the new locks actually opened, the only cruise ship for Disney that could go through that was the Wonder, because it didn't have the little ducktail, they call it, on the back.
Oh, the extension off the rear.
Yeah. That's underwater above the props.
The problem when I went when I was in the Coast Guard, and I was down in one of the bilges with the with my PPE on and everything, and I had to stand watch and wait for potential cracks and stuff. I was on watch the entire time.
Well, here's your
that's where aviation is fun. So, Cabo in Mexico, Cartagena, Cozumel, up to Galveston. Interesting.
Yeah, that's where the Wonder ports during the winter season.
So I've been to Cabo, I've been to Cozumel, and I've been to Acapulco, and they're all overrated, but Cozumel is the best.
You don't stop at each one of these every time, but
there are options.
We went down to Golfito, Costa Rica too. That place was beautiful.
To be honest, though, I would literally going through even if I had a deck, to sit out and watch it from, I'd be up around here somewhere, just chilling on the deck.
I would too, honestly, like, I was upset that I didn't get an opportunity to see anything, and that, everybody had to do their duty, and I was like, okay, but that sucks. So that's why I always joke that I've never been on a cruise, a non-working cruise, because all of mine have been, like, I've been to some really cool places, but it was all when I was on the boat, and 90% of the time I didn't get to see some really cool stuff.
Depending on which route you go through, this is quite the impressive transatlantic.
See, transatlantic would be phenomenal.
I've looked into those, and that would. It's something that I would like to do, because I've done a lot of cruising in the Pacific for the Navy, and then the Bermuda run a few times. But a trip over to Europe and back wouldn't be a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been to Europe, so I would love to visit.
I'm the opposite of you, Jared. So.
I wouldn't mind
I
being
I
able
was
to
eye the
go.
West.
Oh, yeah, I did West Coast too.
All right,
Well,
let's
see, when I was in the Navy, I was East Coast, so I have
clear
done
filters.
transatlantic on, in the U.S. Navy at least.
Right. The closest I got was because I was mostly on the Pacific, and the closest I got was the Galapagos. We were almost about to
What
go
do you
to
think
the
about this one,
Galapagos.
Jared?
Ooh, the cliffs of Dover.
Ooh, that would
So
be
you leave from
stunning.
Dover, go up to Oslo, go down to Sweden, go down to Copenhagen, hit Amsterdam, and then come back to Dover.
See, where have I
On
been?
the
Been to
seven.
Scotland, Sweden, Germany,
Hmm.
France, Gibraltar, Spain, Italy, Greece.
That's awesome. I'm so jealous.
This one
I
looks
mean,
like
don't
it
get
would
me
be fun
wrong.
too.
I've been to so many like Central and South American and countries, and I'm okay with
Wait,
Latin
what?
American countries, but I've
Oh,
never been to Europe.
it must be the port fees in Copenhagen or one of these other ports.
Oh, the price.
Yeah, because I'm looking 10 night, 5,700, 5,800. 8 night, 6,400. I'm like, either
No,
that or there's no inside staterooms available. Nope, that is the inside stateroom.
no.
Oh,
So here's the question. So let's take a look. All right, stop. Now go ahead and hide that because I want to compare the stops.
Okay.
So
I
we
would love
got
to do like a cruise for like our
no
20.
Estonia, St. Pete's there, Helsinki's there, Estonia's there, Visby is there. No,
Visby is not,
Vis,
but Dover's not either.
yeah, Visby looks like the difference. So this is a Baltic, more Baltic than
Yeah, because let's see what. So this one's the 28th. This one is the 18th. This one is the 10th. So this is the first one in the Northern Europe area for the month of August, anyways.
mm.
Um, Followed by this one. Really weird.
Amazing though.
So you start in Copenhagen and end in Dover, and then show up in Dover and do that.
See, here's the thing. I would love to go to Europe, but I would love to do a cruise in Europe so I could go visit a whole bunch of things, but I think it would be better just to like be able to spend time in each place, because how many different things is there to see in places like Barcelona and
Oh,
Dover and
I'm
things
very
like
much
that?
a history buff, and yeah, that's what I had my problem when my Navy stops at places. Like there was
Right.
far more to see there than the time you had to see.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you
Like
really
me
had to plan
too.
and prioritize. And that
Right?
and that is why I don't like the island hopping cruises. I like the Bermuda where you get there mid-morning on one day, you're there all the next day and you leave at dinner on the third day. That is essentially 2 full days to
Yeah.
to do stuff. And with the fact that now before it used to be in October, only the Dawn went down there for that time period. So a lot of the shops on the first day and everything wouldn't be as accessible, and it would actually go into an off season for some of the things. But now that there's a couple other cruise ships that pull in around the same time and same time of year now, more stuff stays open, and a couple of the beaches and fun stuff like that right off the pier are more expensive now.
Yeah, that was what happened to us when we went to Golfito, Costa Rica. The first time I remember pulling in, everything was kind of dilapidated and hard. It was very like culturally, you could see exactly what Costa Rica was. It was so beautiful and so real. And then by the fourth or fifth time we pulled in there. They were putting in the casinos, and they were putting in a brand new pier for cruise ships, and it's starting to get Americanized, and that's when I'm like, no.
All right, so where do you want to go there, Coral?
Where do I want to go?
Disney travel has literally just about anything you can think of for a trip.
Amazon and Galapagos would be amazing. In Europe, I would want to do probably, I don't know, there's a lot, Scotland for sure.
Well, if you're gonna do that one, you might have. Oh no, that's a separate one actually entirely.
Do Scotland in the summer though.
Yeah.
Scotland would
Yeah.
be amazing. I want to see the castles.
And do the Mediterranean in the winter or fall.
Yeah, fall or
Amalfi
spring.
That's my recommendation
And then
from experience.
maybe New Zealand would be awesome. Oh,
You know, since this is a new one, let's see what this one
Yeah.
is.
And they
wonder
got
what's in it.
Egypt too. That's crazy.
All right, so here's your itinerary. If it'll load. So you
you're-
start off in Auckland. Second day, you're in Auckland. And then you go to,
Waiheke and Auckland.
yep. So you basically start in Auckland and you work your way to Waikiki and work your way down. This would be awesome.
Ooh.
The
This right here.
glowworm cave tour. Fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
Then you're still down in Rotorua. Ooh.
Ooh.
The canopy tour thing looks fun.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
And then you finish up there and then go down to Christchurch the next day.
I was in Naples. I did hike up to the top of Vesuvius.
Nice. Oh my god. I'm so jealous.
Oh, we just got asked, is this the Travel Channel? You know what? This week it has turned into that.
Apparently, yeah.
Started
But
here, yes.
it's a boat.
This-
I mean, come
this-
on. We love
This
boats.
this is one of my passions. If I could ever get back into doing travel agency stuff, I would love to do that.
I honestly like when at one of my previous places, I became a travel maybe concierge on accident. We had a bunch of people from Asia, India, come in that like we had huge groups coming in for training and things like that. And so while they were there, and we had two separate groups that came in, I kind of took the liberty of coming up with some really cool places that locally that they could visit, so that way they could get the whole experience of the Chicagoland area. We went up to, on one of the trips, we went up to the Wisconsin Dells. Another one, we went to Cave of the Mounds. You know, just finding all of the cool little things for them to do downtown Chicago, of course. And you know, I basically set it up. I'm like, okay, what's your guys' budget? Okay, these are the different things that we can do. This is how much it's going to cost. And I basically had a made up itinerary for them and everything. And then when the second group came in, everybody heard about how I did that for the first group. So of course the second group, they absolutely wanted to go. And so I had to pick different things because they didn't want to do the same thing. So we ended up doing, I think, Fright Fest. Oh, yeah, because it was Halloween time. We went and did Fright Fest, Six Flags, and did a bunch of those. So it was lots of fun. I love traveling and meeting people, and so it's fantastic. I want to see places, look at the different architectures.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, unless you're going to cruise to the same ports often, you're not going to have time to really take in and enjoy the actual culture and area that you're going to.
Yeah.
And
That's kind of what I like about the Adventures by Disney stuff. because you get 28 meals included in your price. You're there for 12 days. You're visiting 31 sites, but it's a little bit, high paced. You're still getting to see quite a bit in your 12 days, which
Yeah. I mean, I can see the benefit of that, but yeah, I'm one of, like, when we went down to Mexico, we went down over by Mexico City so we could go see the pyramids. And we were there for 10 days and we still didn't see everything we wanted to see.
oh yeah.
It's just I'm so passionate about being able to see these places and experience the food from there. And I mean, when we went down to Mexico City, we went into like this little hole in the wall with a little old lady like making gorditas and stuff like that, fresh from, fresh masa and stuff like that.
That's the
Like
best
it's
places, to be honest.
they
Yeah,
really are.
yeah. Now the one thing about the Disney trips is you actually get tour guides that speak the language there as well as speak English.
That's great.
Yeah, some
And
places
most of
that
them
is a big
live
thing.
in the area, so it's not like they're just hired on there. It's like foreign exchange students that loved it there that went back and then they just found a niche job, being a tour guide.
That's really awesome.
But like this one I would love to do because I believe if I'm looking at this correctly, you actually
You
take
do
the
the
Eurostar.
Yeah, you do the channel.
So you stay one
Ooh.
night over in London, then you get on the Eurostar.
Yep.
Ooh. That would be incredible.
Like this
The
is
train would
literally
be
just one
awesome.
day, okay? This is just one day
That's
for your trip.
insane. That's
Breakfast in
insane.
your London hotel, you hop on the Eurostar. Lunch aboard the train, then you go to the Montmartre. I can't even speak French, but you're going to the Parisian districts that were once the epicenter of the Bohemian lifestyle. A guided walking tour of the area, a wine tasting, cheese tasting, check into your hotel, dinner on your own in Paris. Like you can go pick whatever restaurant you want to go to.
That
You
would be
know, a little money out of pocket for you, but
amazing.
you get a whole day in Paris, 2 whole days in Paris. Then you go to Florence and hang around in Tuscany. Then you go on your way to Rome, spend a day in Rome, 2 days in Rome, and then
And
fly
then
out.
that's it.
Yeah, the 10th day you fly out.
Wow. That would be incredible.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, I balk at these prices too because I mean,
Yeah.
Mine is
this
Sure.
isn't a couple. This is literally one person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you figure, wait, does that cover your airfare to London or
I
just
don't
when you get there?
think so. I don't think so.
And
If I
that's
remember what I was reading, they
gonna be
don't.
a good $1,000 too, minimum each person for flight out to England.
Yeah, prices are per person based on W occupancy. Airfare, yeah, here it is. Airfare to and from destinations is not included in our land
It-
packaging prices.
Yeah, so
So you have to pay for it.
it's a 10 grand per person plus airfare to London and airfare from Rome.
Wow. But that would be so incredible though. It'd be really cool.
And there is a travel agency that I know that deals exclusively, well, not exclusively with Disney. They have started branching out to other cruise lines and other tour packages, but they do get like special deals for their Adventures by Disney trips. That if you're interested in it, I could get you that information. And that goes to anybody out in the live chat too. Just hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Discord.
Click on the Egypt one. I want to see what that is.
Egypt, I can find that now. Where did I see that? There it is.
Far left, yeah.
That
I
would be a
gotta
fun
go
one.
soon. Yeah. But I want to see the pyramids.
Oh, how can you not?
Right.
Well, this is how it is. You have to literally fly to everywhere. You go to Aswan, Abu Simbel. Ooh.
The
I'm
Or
sure one of your
just-
days is going down to Giza from Cairo.
Oh, I'm sure it would have to be.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah,
let's-
Yep.
trip highlights pyramids of Giza.
One place I did not get to go to was Egypt, though.
Oh, wouldn't that
And
be
actually,
incredible?
during that last med cruise, most of the rest of the battle group did stop in Egypt at one point. In fact, went to the Suez Canal, but we were one of the few that didn't.
Yeah, I know my dad was in for almost 30 years, 29 years before he retired, and he went to Cairo like I would say probably 3 or 4 times during like Desert Storm, Desert Shield, and then in between he went a couple of times to Cairo and would bring back things like the papyri and things like that.
Is that
It's
how
really
you
cool.
get down that way?
okay.
Go back. Sorry, I'm going back to the highlights there.
Food.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get going soon, guys.
So yeah,
We've got food here.
after you visit Abu Simbel, you go down to Aswan, and then you take a river cruise all the way down to Luxor, down the Nile.
So you actually cruise the Nile for a few days. That's nice.
Is there no other drink?
Let's see what the price is.
And
Pretty
about
much-
the same.
Yeah,
Oh,
10
about the
grand per
same.
person.
Wow. 10 grand per person.
I feel so wrong laughing at this. Hold on a moment.
You better get on there quick and tell them it's wrong.
Hang on.
The BDSM community needs to get in on these protests. If a horde of leather and latex people charging into rubber bullets yelling harder daddy doesn't unnerve the police, nothing will. That is fabulous. I volunteer as tribute. That is great.
but in all defense to Disney on the Adventures by Disney prices, when you factor all the travel that they pay for plus your meals for those days and your admission to various sites and some of the tours through Italy, you get private tours through some of like the sites that people stand in line for hours to hopefully get a tour. I mean, you get front of the line privilege for things, so
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and there is justification for the cost in that way. It's just one of those when some people look at it, it's like, oh my god, it's so much, and it's like, yeah, but look at what it's getting you.
yeah, when you break it down to how much it is you would have to pay for all this stuff yourself, it is quite literally more expensive to do it on your own than it is through them. Because again, you're going as part of a huge group.
Yeah,
You're probably with like 20 other people altogether. So
Oh, hang on.
and that is an interesting cruise.
Hang on. Mark Beiser said, I spent about a week looking at pyramids and other ruins. The entire trip cost me under $500. I'd be interested to hear how you pulled that one off.
Well, he answers it right after that.
Of course, it was pyramids in Mexico, and I live in Texas. Okay, makes sense.
Well, I've done that too. I was gonna say, I did the Mexico ones, which were incredible as well. And I actually got to go up to the top of, I think it was Pyramid of the Sun. It was one of them, Pyramid of the Sun or Pyramid of the Moon. And we got to climb up to the very top, and it is awe-inspiring. It is so cool to be able to do that. It was just so cool.
Yeah, at some point I know I'm going to end up back in Japan because while I was there, I was trying to get up to climb Fuji and didn't. So I know there's the old saying that they have. If you go to Japan and don't climb Fuji, you are destined to go back. The question is when.
Right.
Which I wouldn't mind going back. Japan is another great place to visit. But if you're going there on a vacation self-funded, it can get expensive.
I would love to go to Japan and China and like all of those places. I wish I could travel the world. It would be incredible.
There are political reasons why I don't really look at going to China. I know. Granted, I did pull into Hong Kong a couple times, which that was one thing, but that was like China Light. But with what's been going on there now, it's like, yeah, no thanks, I'll stay away for now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would love to go just to be able to see again some of the old traditional, like some of the oldest temples is there, and that would just be incredible to be able to see.
Angkor Wat is one place that would be interesting to go to.
Have any of you watched the extra credits, extra history series on Angkor Wat?
I have not.
No.
It is worth a watch.
I liked Pompeii.
Pompeii would be amazing. I've actually written short stories about Pompeii.
And actually, speaking of Hong Kong, so you've seen how tall some of the buildings in downtown Hong Kong are, right?
Yes.
Go to the top of Mount Alexandria there. There's a Hard Rock Cafe up there that you can actually look down on those skyscrapers.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. That's cool.
Yeah, up there it's like, oh, we got a fog roll. Wait a minute. No, that's not fog. That's a fucking cloud.
Fog is just a cloud close to the ground.
Right. Right?
Well, no, but normally fog, you get that little bit of warm to it. No, this was fucking cold when it came through. And it's like, wait a minute, we're all the way. Yeah, no, that's not fog rolling in. That is a cloud rolling through, and we are in it.
Yeah, you get that like if you like go west of me and you're heading through the Blue Ridge. Like the highways get like that because basically you're like driving through clouds. It's fog and the fact that the clouds just at the ground.
Yeah.
There was a place in Mexico that we went, and where as you're going into the pass, they call it the doorway to heaven because of the fact that when you're going up there, you literally have like nothing but fog. And it's actually clouds or whatever. And so it literally looks like the cars are like disappearing into nothing. It's really, really neat.
You can see cars.
Don't worry about it.
Drove through the Blue Ridge before. I can't even see past my hood.
Yeah, that's a problem sometimes. But yeah, some places to end up going like that. I would go back to Hong Kong when political unrest is not an issue. I would go back to Australia in a heartbeat.
Like home.
This is one I want to do. Tortola and St. Thomas.
Oh, and if you time it right, watch a rocket launch, go out on a cruise, come back, watch another rocket launch.
Maybe just a little bit. But that's not bad for two people. For two adults.
What was the price?
$38.15.
For total for two people? Yeah, that's not bad.
And that includes taxes, fees, and port expenses. Disney actually includes it right up front, so you know what you're paying final cost.
Yeah,
Again, it's more expensive than if you were to book the same cruise on another cruise line. But when you think about all the things that you might have to buy extra into, like with Norwegian or Royal
or
Caribbean.
Princess or Royal, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, this is fucked up. So, my sister ordered, I think it was DoorDash or one of them or whatever, and we had a specific order, and I just wanted some fries. Instead of getting fries, we ended up with like 5 like Hershey Sundae pies. What the fuck are we gonna do with that? And 0 fries.
That sounds like they grabbed the wrong order.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, I'm like...
That's when you contact whoever the company was and tell them you got the wrong order.
Yeah, and she went to, and my sister was the one who ordered it, and so she went into the app to see what was going on. They changed the actual order, and there's no option now to add fries.
That's weird.
Right? For like a place like Burger King and
Why?
McDonald's.
why didn't they contact you to change the order?
Right.
Yeah,
That
So
Uh,
frustrating.
they should have. The person's not supposed to change your order without contacting you first.
Right, which
I
they
happen to I
absolutely
happen
did
to
not
work
do.
for those types of companies, so I know what's required.
Right. And she's so frustrated, poor thing. She's just like, I don't know what to do, and I'm like, it's okay.
Call-
Alright.
I guess I just don't need any fries today. I'll get my fries tomorrow.
Oh,
Uh,
I think we'll get a kick out of this one, especially with what's on screen now. Disney started off with a mouse on a boat. I do not think people will take as kindly to mice on the boat anymore.
You'd be
Oh,
surprised.
that's
But
funny.
this is the family beach on their private island.
Hmm.
Just off over this way is the adult only section.
Nice.
Oh,
That
It
would
was
be where I
decimated
would
in the
be
last
being.
hurricane season.
Thank you.
What, the entire area or just that one beach?
The adult beach.
Oh,
Like
that
half of it washed
sucks.
away.
That sucks.
Yeah, it was. There were a bunch of like the Disney vloggers that I watched that went on cruises right after the last major hurricane season, and they finally got back after that, and they go and look out at the adult beach, and it's like half gone under the ocean. Just like, ooh.
That sucks.
Get to dredging.
Right.
But yeah, that's what Disney does is they just go out there and redredge everything out that they have to, fix things up between ships. Because the problem is during the off hurricane season, they have four ships that rotate through this one port generally. So how many, that's, and some of them double dip where they go one day to the private island, then to like Nassau, another one, and then stop back there before they go back to Port Canaveral or Miami.
It'd be cool to have an entire island to yourself.
Yeah, it's literally just the Disney Cruise Line, and they also picked up a second. They picked up a second island. I'm doing air quotes here, but it's not really the whole island. They picked up basically a peninsula of the lower half of an island. I forgot what it, or they're in the process of negotiating the contract on it.
That's pretty cool. That'd be
Because
pretty awesome.
because basically what they're trying to do is offer basically two private Disney islands, for an itinerary basically.
Makes sense. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, to be in the financial standing as a business to be able to buy an island.
Right?
Well, to be fair, it is privately leased, not necessarily bought. That whole Hong Kong thing, with the British government.
Yeah.
All right. So, here's Castaway Cay on Google Earth. Is not liking me today, is it? So this is the family islands right here. Okay, this entire section. All the way over here is the adult beach area.
Oh, that far off. Okay.
Yeah. It used to go out to about here.
That's terrible.
Minor difference.
Just a scotch.
Yeah, there are actually a few actual airplanes that are left over from World War II and post World War II training missions that landed here. I wonder if Flight 19's missing out here.
Freaking awesome.
But part of the contract is basically Disney can't take over the island and put up like hotels or anything. They can only have
That
beaches.
segment.
They have control of the whole island, but they have to keep a large portion of it, so it's just easier for them to maintain just this little section here. And then I forget where the actual other island is. I want to say it was Lighthouse Beach area here. I want to say it's this part of the island. Down here. But it might be a different island. I can't remember which one it is. Because it's not too far. Here you go. Here's your island. Here's your island there, Coral.
Rum K.
Rum K.
Oh, that was yes, please.
Or Rum Key, actually.
Oh,
If we're going to be technical. But I mean, literally, this is just like one giant sandbar here. Yeah, I think it is this section right here. Basically, they're basically trying to buy this like section of the island here. Lease out this section of the island here. And the
We have
funny
a
thing
firing
is,
range out there, here in that area.
yeah, you're talking about the Deso range,
Mhm.
which is
We went out there.
actually
We went out there and fired. I got to fire an exercise torpedoes. Only torpedo I actually ever fired.
Hey, Bermuda.
yeah. I just had to give you that one little shot.
that's really cool though.
All right, where is it? See if I can spot it. Not too much. Dude, must be over here. Yep, Atlantis right here.
Wait. Just zoom back in for a second. Is that all one string of connected buildings?
This here, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? See this little walkway here?
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a suite.
Okay.
It'll cost you an arm and a leg to stay there.
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
It makes Disney vacations look cheap. If that's even a thing, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder where that underwater weapon range is.
It's somewhere in here.
Yeah.
I know exactly where it's at.
It's somewhere.
I'm leaving it at that.
Mm-hmm.
I know where it's at too,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't tell you.
It's in that area. Somewhere.
There's
Now-
also one. There's also one out here too.
Now the one out there
gonna
I'm familiar with.
Uh-huh.
Let's go look at some bullet holes.
It's actually kind of boring because usually when we fire something, it's usually an inert practice torpedo. So. Rare occasion a boat actually gets to fire like an actual live torpedo at some target. But
Yeah, sync X's don't happen as often.
They don't like us as much, Jared, on here now.
No.
Although you might be able to spot a few here by the dark spots.
Well, I know for a fact that. What was that?
oh, I just saw that
The vigilante.
aircraft. I was just yeah.
It
Well, I
had-
know for a fact there's.
Actually, it was the Viking 2 I was oohing at just because I hadn't seen one of those in a while.
I broke it. I ended up getting into street level.
Yeah, that side of that building does have some, and also a walk away from there is actually where the first bomb detonated.
MiG-21.
All throughout this field when it was actually the runway.
Wow.
Before it got taken over. Full of bullet holes too.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. See, and here's the thing: that's only happened in the last few, probably like 10 years that's grown over.
Here, let's see what the. Let's go back in time.
Yeah, go back to like 07.
Yeah, you can see the runway there.
You can see it's starting
A
to
little
grow
bit
over
clearer
there.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
They don't actually have 07, but you know.
Still visible
Okay.
though.
Yeah, you're seeing it grow over down the
Yeah.
center there.
Yeah, but then when you get to the newer stuff, if you watch towards the upper right corner, you're getting a lot more of the base housing development in there.
Yep.
Because before, it was only officers' family housing and the Navy Lodge that
Kind
were
of.
on the island for housing.
Yep.
Which
Now you got all
actually,
this
right
over
there,
here.
those white buildings right there, uh,
Oh, these ones
that
here.
that is the Navy Lodge.
Yeah, that's the Navy Lodge.
The pool.
Yep.
See, Navy Lodge, Fort Island. This housing was there when I was there, if I remember correctly. Because yeah, we followed the path down this way.
The Utah's not far from there.
Utah's right there,
Yep.
and we would moor up basically right here, this spot right here. Never directly across from the gate.
No.
The only gate occasionally we, depending on if we were actually doing a full exercise torpedo reload, would be right here, which made no sense to me. But they'd have the trucks coming this way, offload, and then come out this way and leave. But I used to walk from here all the way across the bridge.
That
Yeah.
makes sense, actually. Now I'm looking at it now.
Where is it?
What are you looking for? The mall?
Pearl City Mall. It's right in this area here.
Yeah, it's down over there because it's on the other side of the stadium.
Because here's the stadium, but it was down. So I remember having to walk quite a ways away for it.
I always felt bad for the drivers driving our weapons during the load.
Oh,
The
here we go.
traditional pier in Norfolk, so they had to come in. They either had to back
What?
onto the pier or come into the pier and back out. So
Is that it? Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
I would walk all the way from the boat to here. And then I would walk back.
That's a pretty big distance.
Yeah, especially seeing as how that stadium right there, that's the Honolulu Stadium. That's where the Pro Bowl used to be played.
Yep. Now it's a giant flea market on Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Yeah.
Well, it was that before then too, but
Yeah. Well, because the only things the main things that stadium was used for is the University of Hawaii football team and then the NFL Pro Bowl.
And the baseball team too.
They did. It was a multi-stadium. I thought it was just.
Yeah, this is retractable. This entire section, this entire thing collapses in to make a baseball diamond.
I've only ever seen it in the football configuration.
Uh-huh.
I'm surprised that. Well, that's part of why the Pro Bowl isn't there anymore, is because they deemed the facilities too antiquated and they wouldn't update them.
Yep. But
There's a Mighty Mo.
yep. And the Arizona.
Yeah, that one's really awesome.
Now,
never been on the Missouri.
There used
We have
to
the
be a
Wisconsin
Popeyes
over
around
here. So.
yeah. Oh, taking a look at Joint Base Pearl.
Yeah,
Pearl
back when it
Harbor.
was just Pearl when I was there, but they used to have a Popeyes on base.
Oh, they relocated it because of the Air Force.
We used to go in there just to fuel up, and then we'd go. That'd be our final place that we fuel up, and then we'd head into Sand.
So, want to go ahead and zoom out a little bit? A little bit more, because I'm going to show you what my view was for a while of stuff. Go up to Tripler.
Tripler. Okay. Been a
Or you
while.
had to go for medical.
So it's going to be up and towards the right. Up towards the mountains. Camp H.M. Smith, right there. Tripler Army Medical Center is there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up in that area.
Nice.
Because there's a mountainside and an ocean side where you're actually looking out over Pearl Harbor towards Hickam. Because they actually have two sides of the hospital there, ocean side and mountain side. It's gonna be noticeable because it's actually a big coral colored building.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the left. Actually, I might have to actually type in Tripler Army Medical Center. Yep, right there. Yep, ridge over. That's why. Boom, right there.
That looks familiar.
Yep, that's where my son transferred to after being on Okinawa.
Yeah. He used to, anything that happened that was serious, they'd send you up to Tripler, so.
So yeah, you're up on the mountain looking down over everything.
Sand Island, yeah.
It was always interesting watching some of the commercial airliners come in, and you're looking out towards the horizon, and the aircraft are below you, and they're not even close to landing.
Yeah.
I love shit like that. That's
That'd be
awesome.
weird.
It is weird.
The weirdest flight out for me was flying out of Dutch Harbor. Yeah, I think it was Dutch Harbor. And the way that the
Hey, Waikiki Beach.
the airstrip is just big enough for the takeoff, and you're literally going towards a mountain while you're taking off, and they go like you're staring down a mountain the whole time, and then they veer and go and take off, so it feels like you're going to crash every single time.
The weirdest
There we
two
go.
the weirdest two common flight things I ever saw was one, every Wednesday at NAS Oceana, a Galaxy would land. And they just always freaked me out just because, you know, at landing speeds, they don't look like they're moving.
Yeah.
So you've got like this like gigantic aircraft, and it looks like it's just hanging there. But you know,
Oh yeah.
the party is realizing, yeah, that thing's probably going like 180. So it just looks like it's. And the second thing was, when the runway at Norfolk
Oh,
Naval
that's what you
Station
were
was still
looking
operating,
for.
because the interstate goes under the runway.
Oh
So
yeah.
you could be driving on the interstate and then aircraft's landing, watching an aircraft landing on top of you, basically.
Yeah, that's fun.
Surprised they haven't gotten rid of that yet, because they closed the naval air station at Norfolk.
So this,
Well,
when
yeah,
I last went to Hawaii, this is where we stayed at.
Is the Holly
The
Cove?
Outrigger,
Oh, yeah.
Waikiki.
Gotcha.
Right across the street from
Trump
the
Tower.
hugest.
It's just huge, kind of like me, but not my hands.
But if you want Loco Moco, down here's a Denny's that serves it.
And there's, I wonder if that's near where there was a big aquarium that you could walk through a tunnel that was over there somewhere. I
Yes
don't
and no. Oh, you can't go down. They don't have you going down this side street at all, huh?
Nah,
This is a little shopping plaza right over here.
No, probably my favorite aquarium that I've been to is the one on Okinawa. They have one tank that has 2 whale sharks, a handful of manta rays, and a bunch of other stingrays.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, at the time
Around here is
at the time it was the largest single pane viewing glass saltwater tank in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, with the room and everything, even if you were at the back wall of the viewing area to that tank, up at the top level of the tank, you could not get the entire tank in one shot with the camera.
Wow. That's incredible.
so this is the zoo, the Honolulu Zoo area. This is quite the hike if you ever get the chance to do it.
Oh, Diamond Head?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can get in early enough, hike up to the top during sunrise.
Oh.
Quite epic.
Yeah.
It's not too far off from Kenoi Bay. Now, why not? No, yep, because over there is the part of the firing range.
Yes.
This is an old washed out highway that no longer exists. Yeah, it disappeared quite a while ago.
It's provided quite the barrier.
Mm.
Why are you looking for the range identifier?
No.
No, that's right over here.
Well, if you really want to know,
So actually, right there, Schofield Barracks.
Yep.
That is where my the initial hotel room that my wife and I were at is on the post up there. The smell of pineapple was undeniable.
well, I think if I remember correctly, this is
The Dole Plantation.
right over here, which I did a tour around that. And as a person who does not care for pineapple, it was not the worst tourist trap I went to.
Is the best pineapple.
Trust me,
I
if
was obsessed
I
with
could afford to
pineapple.
move us out there, my wife would love me for it.
Yeah. It's so good. I ate so much pineapple that I actually got sores in my mouth because of the acid.
You can actually take a little train tour around the plantation.
It was so good.
But do they make pineapple wine?
I think they do actually.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Do you see this building right here?
Mm-hmm.
This is where you can get a Dole Whip. You can actually get it in here, but you can also get it there.
A Dole Whip?
Oh yeah.
Yes, it's basically a pineapple and vanilla ice cream and pineapple juice.
Yep.
They're
In a blender.
They're more famous at the Disney resorts,
Yeah.
but they got the idea from Disney. Got the idea from the
them.
Dole Plantation. Yeah.
Now the reason why I ask is because there's actually a plantation and winery on Okinawa that does just pineapple.
Mm.
So basically, we went up this way, then up to the North Shore area via this way, and then what now?
Damn, Rogel is at it again. They do not make pineapple wine. Pineapple does make some people wine, though. That is a pun, and it is punny.
I can appreciate that. Very punny. I love puns.
Actually, I wonder, do we have any new text to speech messages from your father? I haven't seen any notifications recently.
All right. This was a fun little stop on our trip. the Polynesian Cultural Center.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
There's actually a restaurant here on the same parking lot. I want to say it was this building here. Really great pulled pork sandwich.
I was gonna say, do they have? I was gonna ask if it was a barbecue joint.
Well, they have this lagoon thing that you can go through as well to visit the various islands of Polynesia. That was pretty fun. I got an abbreviated tour of it, but it's pretty fun. And down over here, where is it?
Waimea Bay or beach. Waimea Beach.
Where's the Sea Life Park? Here we are. Chief's Luau right here. We spent a day here. And we actually got to go swimming with the dolphins. Actually, they could be funny, but they could be assholes.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Oh, my father has been unresponsive as of late. I sometimes sit and watch him for hours on end in case he says something. I suspect he is hiding from the custodies known as the creepy one. Well, all you have to do is tell them to put their armor back on and get their shit together.
It's a huge show here, but the view is excellent.
It looks better than Minecraft.
Well, anything looks better than Minecraft. Don't get me wrong, I'll play Minecraft every once in a while, but But you actually get to look out over these two islands here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lighthouse over here.
Oh, there's the bay.
Manama Bay.
Yeah. That one, you gotta get there early enough for a decent parking spot, but the swimming there
Is phenomenal. And you have to watch a choral presentation. Just what I'm talking about her. She had to go and leave.
Oh.
But yeah, you have to watch this choral presentation all the way up at the top of the building and then come down and
Yeah.
I highly suggest paying for or hitching a ride if you can. That walk up after you've been swimming down there all day. Oh, that can be brutal.
Yeah.
But I took my GoPros down there. My wife and I were trying to swim. She can't swim holding the GoPro, and I'm trying to sit there and swim at the same time. And it was not as fun as it should have been, but it's still fun because we were. Let me share my screen again.
She lost connection. So, well, we're about to shut down and call it a night, anyways.
We predominantly hung out right over here in this little area.
Ah, okay. Yes. And yet, volcanoes aren't real. Volcanoes aren't because of magma coming from a liquid core of the earth. Yeah, okay.
Tell that to the people that live.
On the Big Island?
Yeah.
Oh. Have you met Joey Rocha?
Doesn't he live on one of the other islands, though, not the Big Island?
He is in Hawaii.
Yes, I know he's in Hawaii. I want to say he's
think
on Maui, isn't he?
He's either on Maui or Oahu.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you get all the way out at the end of the Hawaiian island chain, you come across a very unique location.
Which one are we talking about? Because I mean,
Midway.
technically that chain goes all the way up to here.
Yeah, Midway. Think yeah, I think that's it right there.
No, that's not it. Yeah,
It's an atoll like that.
yeah.
Just out in the middle of actually yeah, it's gonna be right around
There. Midway.
there.
Wasn't too far off.
Yeah. And then, of course, you have Johnston, Wake, and Truck, and all the other wonderful spots that needed.
Well, I just think it's funny that if you follow the chain, it's almost like maybe at one point this chain of islands started around the same spot these were ending. Almost like plate tectonics is a thing.
Yeah. Almost like it. Oh, and then, yeah, you got the Marianas, and you get down towards Guam and all Saipan, and all of them over there.
You know, I've always wanted, but never really wanted to go here.
It
Because it'd be one thing if I was just like stopping by, you know, on a transit, but at the same time, not really. And it was somewhere right around here,
for what?
San Francisco.
Oh, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of stuff right around there. Undersea mounts are no joke. You kind of want to pay attention to them. But with that, so I've been on air most of the day since 2 p.m. local. So yeah, about 9.5 hours.
To be fair, though, not all undersea mounts are necessarily charted. So.
Well, yeah.
This one was.
that is the problem with that one. They hit one that was.
Just ask the crew of the bouncing. The USS William H. Bates, where it's usually referred to as the bouncing Billy Bates.
Okay, what happened there? How many times did they hit one?
Several.
Over what amount of time?
Oh, years. All of them uncharted too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So at least they had that going for them. Hitting one that's uncharted, okay, I can give you a little bit of... I can give you more leniency on that.
Yeah, I think they found just about every uncharted seamount in the North Atlantic. The hard way.
The best way? I guess that really is all relative. But yeah, we are going to call it a night. Got stuff and things to take care of, and it's nice being back on a semi-regular schedule now. But as
you said it,
I said semi-regular schedule. But if I remember right, I am on call this upcoming week, so maybe it'll be like it has previous on-call weeks where I don't do much of anything after hours. We will wait and see. Until then, everyone enjoy, have fun, and this is actually an apt comment to end it on. The Navy is used to taking it the hard way.
I love Dick.
Steve.
Almost a little too much. We'll catch you later, everyone. We will see you on the next time. And for those who don't remember, Tuesday evening, we are continuing the Star Wars watching in the Discord server. Wednesday is a movie yet to be determined. And Thursday, we are continuing the sagas of the Enterprise D through the TNG series. And then we'll see what Trek follows that one once we complete that. The only way to tell, join the Discord server, keep abreast of
Enterprise.
everything, Maybe. Here's the thing. You have some Star Trek series lately that actually make Voyager and Enterprise enjoyable.
I know. I've suffered through them.
And I've tortured people with them. But until then, we will see you all next time. Good night.
Later.
All right.